All right, I wanted to do a evening update for Bitcoin, our favorite. So here are the labelings from the prior discussion that we had this morning. Let's see what prices had done. You know, I I'll go on record. Look, I called the bottom on this pretty okay. I counted the A, B, and C, and Michael counted the C here, and I said very clearly the bottom could be in. And what do you know? It did a bullish wick on this. A bullish wick is when a support is pierced by the price, but quickly then it retraces back inside. That is called a bullish wick, like a wick on a candle. And this is very interesting because I see an impulse. I see myself an impulse here. Let's go to the 30 minutes. Gives a better resolution. There you go. So let's count this. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of C. Then we need to see if we can count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you might be saying, okay, why don't you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It will be absolutely correct to do so. Nothing wrong with that. The only thing is I like extended fifths. And this fifth wave can be further sub-counted into 5 waves beautifully. And I like that. I just prefer that. That was a micro. Hell, let's make this sub-micro as these subwaves. Okay? And you might be saying, well, what about this peak? It's higher than here. Isn't this 5? I don't think so. The reason is because I've told several times that one of the personality feature of crypto waves is a commonality of expanded flat. Remember I explained that this morning? What is an expanded flat? You have A, B exceeds the beginning of A, C exceeds the beginning of B, or the bottom of A, right? So you get A, B, C. That's exactly what you got here. A, B, boom, C. Beautifully made. Nicely done. Now, the more vertical it is, the more vigor it's saying it has. It is sick and tired of going down. It is, Bitcoin itself is getting frustrated. It was getting, what do you want to call it? The bots were pushing it down to slow bleed. It was a whale trying to play with everyone, trying to make it a better entry for. You can come up with any fantasy you want. And it wouldn't matter. But whatever was happening before, it was tired of going down, oversold, and it made an impulse very nicely. Look how the C came down to the prior wave 4. Okay? Beautiful. Now, what's next? So, if I have 5 here and an ABC, then I have or wave 1. So 1 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 1. This ABC expanded is labeled as 2. And what's next? If this is 2 and 2 is done, this is, oh boy, and this is starting for the 3, then can we potentially see what? Can we potentially see 1, 2, 3, 4 and bust out of this? That would be sweet. That will be sweet only because I'll show you in a little bit. And this will be 3. Okay? And if this happens, 1, 2, 3, 4 widths on the support, let's say. Or let's say it just dips a little bit back in. And then 5 just stays outside. That is my forward discernment of what I'm trying to figure out, what I'm trying to see. And I think that's a reasonable forward discernment. Okay, so having said that, this is what, and then you might be saying, well, Hedgen, this looks just like what Steam and Bitcoin Cash is doing. Why didn't you set up a trade here? I could. It didn't matter when I was looking through it today. I have to admit, I was at a bar with a lady screaming on her phone on my left and another couple arguing on my right. Meanwhile, I'm trying to do a trade setup, and I took a quick through all of them, as many as possible, and I just picked, I like Steam and I like Bitcoin Cash. Let's see. I saw a lot of the same patterns, and I was thinking, it really doesn't matter at this point which one you pick. Okay? Now, why are they all same? Why are they all same? Because sentiment is the same. Sentiment is the same. And my dear friend here, Devon, asks a question that's a very fair question. He says, PCH is down $75 since Monday, although BTC is recovered. Why is that? Does anyone know? Fair question. And what I can say is this. when sentiment is pretty much similar across, it doesn't mean they are one-to-one lockstep correlated. No, that would be silly. Although sometimes it might look like that. But the fact that the counts are looking very similar right now shows that sentiment, and I answered in one word to him as sentiment. But now in more than one word, my response is they're not one-to-one in lockstep. That means some can go down a little more than Bitcoin. Bitcoin can go up a little more than Bitcoin Cash. There is a variation, and they each have their theme. It's like if you've ever played in an orchestra. There's one orchestra, let's say a common sentiment. Within that orchestra, so the first violin section does not play the exact same tune as the second violin section. You can call the first violin maybe, you can call it Bitcoin. You can call the second violins maybe you can Neo. Then you can call the viola section the Bitcoin Cash. And you can call the cellos the Zen Cash. Now they all have different parts in that symphony, or let's say in this case, chamber music. But the sentiment piece of that music, the score is the same. Geez, I hope I'm making sense. And that's exactly pretty much what you're seeing. And if you if you ever pick up a score of a symphony, there's Fibonacci relationship in that as well. You'll be amazed. It's amazing how the chords are Fibonacci related. The third, fourth, fifth is amazing. But anyways, that's the reason why it seems like Bitcoin Cash fell a lot more than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is having a hell of a lot better recovery than Bitcoin Cash. But look, we just did a count of Bitcoin. We did a count earlier in another video for Steam and Bitcoin Cash. Same pathway with same count is being revealed. They're just playing different sections of the same symphony. But they all play by the same conductor, by the same metronome, the same rhythm set by sentiment. Let's see how the prices do overnight. I'm home, so I'll see if I can do an early morning review. And I think I will always say this at the end. I hope I have earned the right to ask you for your upvote, your follow, your good comments, suggestions, questions. If you can consider resteaming, I'd be grateful. I see a lot of people at reputation scores at 25s, 40s, 50s. I'm now 58. And it would be very exciting if we can all grow our reputations together as a group, following each other. I'm beginning to follow you also, and I'm now also taking the time to upvote you as well on your comments. I've been just so busy. It takes a lot of time to make the comment. And as well, but I you know what, I really enjoy it. I have a lot of fun in doing this. So let's see how the overnight prices go. We might have some pretty good trades in.